geçişinin 3. çıkışı. Ladies and gentlemen, third bout of this boxing evening. Referee this bout, Roland Juhas, Hungary. Please welcome the Sunning Star. 3. çıkışı. Kalbistır kendi sallarında ve gezisilerge şol derge dayanmaz. Endişe şarşalarının köpürüşüne. Russian boxing team komunen Bokş'ın sıraya. Avak, Узлян. Please welcome.
So the next bout in this semi-final first leg is in the 64-kilogram light welterweight division. And we are rating the arrival of the Russian representative Avak Uzlian. Flag bearer is already at the ropes arena. MC waiting expectantly, as are we, for the appearance of the 23-year-old. Making just his second appearance. I say making, he's scheduled to make his second appearance in World Series boxing in this semi-final first leg. And as of yet, no sign of Avak Uzlian of the Russian boxing team. Critical contest, this one as well. And Avak Uzlian finally appears in the arena, takes the wrong route towards his corner. The GPS back in full effect now. Just scheduled for his second appearance here tonight, and 26th amongst light welterweights in World Series boxing. So Avak Uzlian takes up residence in the blue corner in this light welterweight contest. Well, here comes the representative for the home team, Samat Bashenov. And these boxers really at opposite ends of the experience spectrum. Bashenov, 27 years of age, 5 feet 7 inches or 1.7 meters tall. He's amassed experience from seasons 2, 3, 4, and here in season 5. 18 contests in total across those 4 seasons. He's sporting a record 13 wins against 5 defeats across those 4 WSB campaigns.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome captain of the team, Samat, Bashena!
So a critical contest, this one. Roland Juhas from Hungary will take charge of this encounter. But a Russian victory absolutely crucial if they want to have any hope of taking this first leg. 2-0 down after 2 completed bouts. This one crucial for them to remain in contention. So round 1 is scheduled for 5 threes in the 64-kilogram light welterweight division. The boxer, wearing black trunks trimmed with gold, representing the home team Astana Arlans Kazakhstan, is the team captain, Samat Bashenov, 27 years of age, competing in his 6th bout here in season 5, undefeated to this point as well. He's the 5th ranked boxer in the light welterweight division. His opponent, Avak Uzlian, got through the long looping left that wasn't too far away. He's making just his 2nd outing of his World Series boxing career. He's 23 years of age. And that sole match this year in season 5 came in week 5 on the road in Havana against Yasnier Toledo Lopez. Given the golfing experience, perhaps won't be surprised to learn that it was the Cuban who emerged victorious, unanimous decision in his favor. And he too has since secured passage through to Rio 2016 as he went on to become the #1 light welterweight, as Bashenov got through with a good left hand to the body just a few moments ago. Good right hand over the top from Uzlian got the attention of Bashenov. But the victory that Yasnier Toledo Lopez secured over Uzlian in week 5 as part of his undefeated campaign. 6 bouts, 6 victories for the Cuban maestro. And he emerged as the WSB #1. And so has guaranteed his place in Rio 2016. Along with Mexico's Raul Curiel Garcia, 2 boxers securing passage from the 64-kilogram light welterweight division. It's the Cuban who was the #1. So measured start to this contest. Good exchange of jabs just in these closing seconds. In comparison to the 2 bouts that preceded this one, pace was rather sedate. Educated boxing on show though. It's a beautiful 2-punch combination from Uzlian. Off right on the end of his shots. And the home fighter has taken the opening round across the board. First time that has happened in this, the 3rd bout of this semi-final first leg, and an encouraging start, and perhaps that's why the crowd, in contrast to the first 2 bouts, almost stunned into silence.
Round 2,
so we move into the 2nd round. The Kazakh captain who lifted the trophy in season 3 during the Astana Arlans Kazakhstan success. Samat Bashenov, but he's conceded the opening round across the board against the visiting Avak Uzlian. During that final against the Ukraine Ottomans, it was Bashenov who had the rather dubious privilege. He gets through with a good left to both body and head, facing Vasyl Lomachenko, 2-time Olympic champion. Dropped the decision on that occasion, but that gives you an indication of how highly he's regarded by the Astana Arlans management. He was down at lightweight at that portion of his career, and it was he who was selected to face. Good right hand over the top from Bashenov, but it was he who was selected to face the Ukrainian superstar. Competitive contest it was as well, as a good lead left hook crashes home for Bashenov. So mixed it up with Albert Selimov, one man to defeat Vasyl Lomachenko during his Olympic-style boxing career, what was previously known as his amateur career. He's mixed it up with him twice, lost on both occasions during the course of season 4. So that gives you an idea of the caliber of operator that Bashenov is. He's the captain of this franchise as well, hugely respected by his fellow boxers and the team management. He's just got to get into his groove here if he wants to get back on terms after conceding the opening round. The languid shots appear to be coming from the gloves of Uzlian. Even when he doesn't throw it, when he feints and thinks about throwing it, tends to take a while to get back to the on-guard position. Bashenov has recognized. Sure that Bashenov has recognized the rather languid and low-held hands of Uzlian. Just thinking on a way to try and implement a counter. Right hand over the top wasn't too far away. So into round 3. Bashenov taking the second round unanimously. So it is 1 round apiece in this pivotal encounter in this semi-finals first leg. Uzlian is boxing very well indeed. Took the first round across the board. Inexperienced in World Series boxing terms. Just 1 outing this season as he takes a strong right cross from Bashenov at long range. Saw him when he visited London as part of the Olympic test event in 2011, Uzlian. Lost at the quarter-final stage to Sweden's Anthony Yigit, who went on to represent his country at the Olympic Games. He is now a professional under the Sauerland promotional banner. Trying to box his way out of a corner and counter with the right hand, Uzlian. Quick use of the right hand from Uzlian, but then a right cross over the top from Bashenov was an effective shot. Good right hand from Uzlian once again. And a cracking right cross though from Bashenov. Perhaps the best shot of the entire contest. Hard left hand to the body, and Bashenov beginning to warm up now. Cracking right cross through Uzlian's guard once again. And he's putting the Russian under significant pressure. Crowd perhaps for the first time having something to cheer about, because this has been a really good spell for Samat Bashenov, the Aston Royal captain. right hand has been an effective shot. And Uzlian just threatening to become a little bit disheveled here. It's a rather untidy contest at close quarters. The languid limbs of Uzlian trying to wrap up and envelop the marauding Bashenov. But Bashenov getting his man where he wants him and unloading to both body and head. Worrying signs now for Uzlian. He's on the retreat. Really being overpowered here in these exchanges. Missing badly with his shots. And again, we mentioned the fact that they're coming back to somewhere around his pecs rather than to his chin. And the manner in which Bashenov is throwing that right hand here in round 3, he could well get countered by what could be a finishing shot. Right hand success once again with Uzlian on the ropes. Torrid round endured by the Russian, courtesy of some really accurate punching from Samat Bashenov. Well, the crowd were rather subdued in the opening 2 rounds of this contest, but they sure as anything came to life during the course of that 3rd round. Bashenov really teeing off on Uzlian to both body and head. Really, Uzlian almost got to the realms of just hoping that the storm would pass. Such was the dominance of Bashenov during the 2nd half of that 3rd round. So he goes in front for the first time in the contest, having taken rounds 2 and 3 unanimously after conceding the first, Samat Bashenov.
Round 4, 3rd each round.
So into round 4, there was a most definite momentum shift during the course of round 3. And Samat Bashenov is continuing this 4th round in a similar vein. Jabs being pistoned out, uppercuts being dug in underneath. And Uzlian just appears to be running out of ideas and perhaps out of energy here. Made a bright start to this light welterweight contest, did the Russian. It's a crucial contest as well, remember, because it's bout number 3 in this semi-final first leg, as his head is buffeted by both arcing lefts and rights in that little exchange. I say exchange, Uzlian didn't contribute. Tagged by a right hand once again. He really is being worked over here. He's going to have to show the referee something. Desperate swing with the right cross. His momentum carrying him across the boxing ring. And Bashenov, I'm sure, will be looking to counter over the top of these languid punches. There's a sharper right hand from Uzlian. Uzlian beginning to take some significant punishment here. He just doesn't have to appear to have the power in his punches to keep Bashenov at bay. Bashenov's movement has improved as the contest has gone on. Remember, the Astana Orlans haven't boxed since the regular season, whereas Russia had to compete in that quarter-final. They prevailed 9-1 over Italy on aggregate. So there was a question. A beautiful right uppercut got through the corkscrew variety from Bashenov. There was a question as to whether the Orlans would be rusty coming into this semi-final. All of their boxers so far have been sharp and appear to have benefited from the rest rather than acquiring any ring rust. Bashenov, though, did concede the opening round in what was a rather slow start, but since then he has steadily and increasingly taken control. Good left hand to the body. Uzlian looking rather weary now, looking across to his corner and perhaps thankful to hear that 10-second clapper. Missing badly with his punches once again, his feet walking across the ring as he struggles to retain his boxing stance. It's a weary-legged walk back to his corner. Eric Sapiev looks on approvingly. Well, what a turnaround we have seen during the course of this contest. Samat Bashenov, a little bit slow to start during the course of the first round, but has warmed up as the contest has progressed and now finds himself in almost complete control against the boxer who appears to be fading as the contest goes on.
Round 5, yes,
So into the fifth and final round we go. Has the minute's respite been enough for the energy levels of Avak Uzlian to recover sufficiently as he tries to get himself back into this contest and get Russia on the board in this semi-final first leg? He started brightly as he takes another stiff right hand, but there's a good right hand in response from Uzlian. In the manner in which the contest has gone, he's going to need to put his man on the floor if he wants to have a hope of securing his first victory in World Series boxing. He hasn't boxed since week 5. And he lost on the road to the Olympic bronze medalist from London 2012, Yasnier Toledo Lopez. So he too will be rested. With this being just his second encounter over the 5-round duration, perhaps not fully acclimatized to the longer distance. Remember, Olympic boxing returned to 3 threes back in the World Championships of Milan 2009. And that's where the majority of Uzlian's experience has come from. So rounds 4 and 5, while not uncharted territory, most certainly isn't familiar territory. And it's during the course of those 2 rounds in particular that he has faded very badly indeed, Uzlian. Although the rot started to set in during the course of round 3 when Bashenov went on the rampage and scored effectively with just about every punch in the book to both body and head. So one suspects it would take a remarkable lapse in concentration now from Bashenov if Uzlian is going to land a finishing shot. And given his experience, remember, he's undefeated this campaign, 5th ranked light welterweight in World Series boxing. And of his 5 losses today, we've already mentioned 2 of them have come to the legendary Albert Selimov, one of them to Vasyl Lomachenko. So that gives you an idea of the caliber of boxer you have to be if you hope to get a victory over Bashenov in this 5-round format of World Series boxing. Good left hand to the body. 2-punch response from Uzlian, but then countered immediately by Bashenov. Well, he deserves immense credit, does Avak Uzlian, because he was spirited and competitive throughout that 5 rounds, despite being almost overwhelmed at portions of round 3, 4 and 5. He didn't waver from his task, but one suspects it will have been a forlorn endeavor, as Bashenov remained composed, picked his shots wonderfully throughout that 5th round, and Uzlian couldn't produce the finishing blow that he needed to tilt the contest in his favor. And one suspects that this will be victory in favor of Bashenov, which will tilt the first leg irrevocably in favor of the home team.
We have decision of Judge Committee, Judge 1. 49-46. Judge 2, 48-47. İkinci dönüşü 48-47. Judge 3, 48-47. Üçüncü dönüşü 48-47. Winner points by unanimous decision. Winner is red corner, Samat, Bashενov.
Well, Uzlian took the fifth round for judges B and C to make it really close on their scorecards, but in the final analysis, it's a unanimous point decision victory for the Kazakhstan captain, Samat Bashenov. And he gives the home team, Kazakhstan Astana Arlands, an unassailable 3-0 lead in this first leg. But still, with the second leg to come, Russia will be continuing to compete. They want to get something on the board as they enter the second leg.